All right, everybody, let's go ahead and open up the doors to our Zoom room. So if you are watching us on a live stream, or a replay, we're actually available as a live Zoom meeting Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:50 p.m. Pacific time. You are welcome to join us at dailywithdoczoom.com. That is dailywithdoczoom.com. So welcome, everybody. So excited to see so many people here on with us in the live Zoom. Folks, if you're here with us and you have a question for Dr. Wallach, feel free to raise your hand. Go to that menu in Zoom and look for reactions and raise hand. I will be calling on people in the order that their hands are raised. I'm also going to be going back and forth as I can see the questions here in YouTube, and I have emails. So, folks, if you have a question that you would like to get some information on what you can do as an empowered individual on your own without having to pay steep pharmaceutical prices, and something that's actually going to nourish the body at the cellular level, then listen up, because you are in for a treat of information that allows you to do just that. My name is Becca Dukes. I am a certified holistic health coach and also the director of student services with the Institute of Holistic Health. And I am honored to be able to bring to you a gentleman who has been fighting for humanity for many, many decades, not just years, but decades. And folks, through his own research and through studying the research of others, and figuring out why are things occurring, not just in disease of humans, but also in that of animals around the world. So he started out with just getting and it's not just, he started out with a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, looking at plants in depth, what they need. And then he became, because he was working in the pathology lab through college to pay for college. I mean, he's not a silver spoon kid, folks. He comes from very humble starts, where his family had a farm and they raised cows. And he was this little kid who had chores. Imagine that. He has been taught from early to have responsibilities and to take those responsibilities serious and to be observant of his surroundings. And he has done just that through that Bachelor of Science that then led into a doctorate of veterinary medicine with 3 postdoctorates in pathology. And then after finding some incredible things and wanting to take that information to mankind, not just the animal kingdom, but mankind, he became a naturopathic physician. How many doctors, people, do you know have such a passion to help people to go through all that? And not just go through that, but has also been instrumental with his research in suing the FDA with victories 8 times. 8 times. That then led to getting nutrition added into certain common foods so that we could start thriving and not just barely surviving with no known cause to some of the things that were happening when it came to health and poor health that led to unexplained death just out of nowhere. Well, he knows the answer, and that's something that we're going to be sharing with you here on Daily with Doc. Now, Daily with Doc is sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. We are independent distributors within the company Longevity, but we bring this information to you as a team for a community. So if you were invited by somebody specific, get back with that person and ask them for more information about what you hear today. How do they order? What do they know? Are they one of those certified holistic health coaches or a coach within the company that can help you on your health journey? Chances are yes. And if there's nobody to thank, feel free to go to dailywithdoc.com. We do have a contact option there that you can send us an email and let us know if you are looking for a coach, if you have specific health concerns that you would like to have Dr. Wallach's recommendations for. We work very closely with Dr. Wallach, and what we recommend are purely based on his research and his recommendations. So rest assured, folks, we are with great confidence in tune and connected with the man of the hour because of all the great things that we personally have seen in our own health and in the health of those that we have been instrumental in helping. So without further ado, I have to read. The content of this program is for educational purposes only on the importance of supplementation. This program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, and our products are not meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any diseases. But folks, when you give the body what it needs, the body can do some amazing things. And that is proven in the science of epigenetics. Dr. Wallach is actually one of the founding fathers of that science, epigenetics, and it is all written out in his book called Epigenetics. We will be getting to that in just a few minutes. So, Dr. Wallach, welcome to Daily with Doc.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Becca and team, for the great introduction and the which they say this is another exciting time in our lives. 19 let's see here, 1966, I was called back from Africa. I was working there with Marlon Perkins on my first postdoctoral fellowship, but looking for why all the white rhino were dying in Southern Africa and so forth. And I caught 200 of them and did all these blood tests and everything. And it was, I'm having the time of my life in South Africa. But he sent me a note. Okay, I need you back here, Wallach. We just got a $21 million grant to study animals in the big city zoos around the world dying of diseases. We want to know why they're dying. So they called me back for that. And I did 20,000 autopsies over a 10-year period and wrote so many articles or diseases in animals that had been said to be genetic in humans are really just simple nutritional deficiencies. And that was kind of milestones. And I got a job when that project was over in 1976 at the Yerkes Primate Center at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, as a pathologist working with all these monkeys that are going into space. And there was 25 baby monkeys. They're all like 6 months old. And one of them was dead, and they brought him to me, and I did my due diligence and so forth. I said, okay, well, I think I've got something interesting here. I think this is a special disease that's thought to be genetic in humans. I want to send this to medical schools and get their opinion. Go for it, Wallach. So I sent them slides to about 5 medical schools. Said, I think this is cystic fibrosis. What do you think? But I didn't tell them it was from a monkey. I just said, I think these slides are from cystic fibrosis. And they all wrote back on their letterhead, yes, this is a classic example of cystic fibrosis. Turns out that that monkey was one of 25. They're all getting ready to go to space. But they're being fed incorrectly. Okay, they're being fed incorrectly because the parents were fighting, and the dietitian said, well, why are we giving them all these monkey pellets? So they just eat them in 5 minutes, and the rest of the day they pick on each other. So they just started, it took away the monkey pellets, all the vitamins, minerals in it, and just gave them carrots and onions and tomatoes and potatoes and things like that. And it turned out to be a mess. And so I said, okay, I need to get this out there. I know what the problem is. And they fired me. I said, well, you can't say that. This is not a nutritional deficiency. Everybody knows this is genetic disease. So they fired me, and I was on the street and had 4 kids to feed. So I was going to events, trying to find something to do. And I got a job teaching nutrition at the naturopathic college up in Portland, Oregon. So after a year of doing that, I said, well, will you give me some credit for some of my courses I took as a veterinarian in soils and livestock nutrition and so forth? Yeah. And so I said, okay, let's go for the degree. And so I graduated in 19, I think it was 1982 as a naturopathic doctor. Okay. And it's a very
84.
84. Okay, so somewhere in there. Okay, and very excited about that, and began to see patients, but I was only seeing 4 or 5 a day. How are all these doctors getting all these patients? I should be seeing more than that. So I started going up and down the coast and giving lectures and so forth, and I started getting more and more patients, and it was very obvious that there was a need, a very special need for something. And that special need was information. So that's when I started writing books and so forth to get the information out. Where I couldn't be there, they couldn't come to me, so they could get the book. I think that's how that all started. Well, over the years, I had seen so many of these things, and finally, I was rewarded with recognition, not money, but recognition in I take it back, in 2011. Okay, with a Klaus Schwarz Award 35 years later for finding the first non-human case of cystic fibrosis in that rhesus monkey. And then it wasn't too long after that, a couple of months, I found in the same sort of scenario that these people, okay, in the same areas were getting other diseases caused by nutritional deficiencies, okay, including birth defects, like you said, cystic fibrosis, but then also muscular dystrophy. Started working with Jerry Lewis and Jerry's kids and found the cause, prevention, and cure of muscular dystrophy. We took it to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. They fired Jerry Lewis, put a gag order on him, and shut down the telethon. Okay, and that was in 2000, I think it was 2015. Okay, September of 2015. Shut down the telethon after he had raised $2.6 billion for them. They shut down the telethon and fired him, put a gag order on him. And then it wasn't too long after that, we also found that these kids dying from sudden death syndrome, SIDS, were having the same problems. So our attorney, Jonathan Emore, great attorney, he and I sued the FDA, as Rebecca said, 8 times in federal court, prevailed, and we got these nutrients put into baby formulas, Enfamil, Similac, and the like. And within 90 days, there was no more new cases of cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, or sudden death syndrome. Very, very proud of that. This was a big, big deal. Okay. And I did get that Klaus Schwarz Award in 2015. I did, 2011. In 2015, I got the United Nations Award. Okay, it's called the Lifetime Achievement Award for all those other things. And that was exciting. And so I'm very proud of that. Well, here it comes again. We were blessed with one of our health coaches. Can I say her name? I forget her first name, Rebecca? Yes, no?
Yeah, I think you can say Kim's first name.
You can say Kim's first name. Okay. Her name is Kim. Okay. And she called Rebecca and said, hey, I've got this patient, okay, with Parkinson's disease. And what do we do for Parkinson's disease? Well, this patient had been treated by this big center. This center is known all over the world. It's one of the most famous clinics in the world. I'll just tell you that now. In a week or so, I'll be able to tell you the name. But right now, I just say it's one of the most famous clinics in the world. Everybody in the world, if you mention the name, they'll say, oh, yeah, we know that. Well, that's right here, blah, 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 and so forth. You all know that. And at any rate, this clinic for 11 years found this woman to be positive for Parkinson's disease. Every year they would test her and she was positive for Parkinson's disease. Next year they tested her positive for Parkinson's disease. And we're getting all the details of that 11-year period. With this Kim and Beck and myself, and this is all recorded. This is all recorded. So there's no doubt what I said when I said it and so forth, because we didn't want any mistakes. And so we recorded it. So we sent her the recording as well as live. Okay. And to make a long story short, in 2.5 months, it was time for her next annual physical. She goes in for I don't know if it was the 11th or the 12th annual physical. We'll find all that out. And she was negative. all her tests were negative for the first time in 11 years. Or annually for 11 years, she'd been positive for Parkinson's disease. Now, suddenly now she's negative for it. And they couldn't believe it. They said, well, we don't understand it. In the meantime, keep doing what you're doing. We'll see you next year. And that was the end of their input. Okay. And so we're putting all this together because we know what it was. We know exactly what it was. Again, I'm a pathologist, and I know what the inside of the brain looks like when you have Parkinson's disease. And so I knew what was missing, and we came up with this program for Alzheimer's disease, for MS, multiple sclerosis, Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is multiple sclerosis of the spinal cord, FTD, frontal temporal dementia, okay, all these kind of things. And also Parkinson's disease, which is really just multiple sclerosis with tremors, okay? And, another part of the brain is afflicted. So anyway, we got rid of it in 2.5 months. And this patient is just so excited of being the one to be able to share her information so we can help more and more people throughout the world with a diagnoses in the classic medical treatment for Parkinson's. Now, I have to tell you that in the United States right now, there's a million active cases of Parkinson's disease. Each year, there's 50 to 60,000 new cases of Parkinson's disease in America alone. And each year, there's some 35,000 people with Parkinson's disease who die. Okay. So our goal is to get the information out there in such a manner so that anybody can do this and save these people years and years and years of unnecessary misery and save these people for a longer, healthier life. It's not genetic, it's not transferable. It's a simple nutritional deficiency disease. And we've got it all figured out. And it's like crazy. Okay. And so I'm very, very excited about this. And I know Rebecca's been working hard on all the details with Kim. Again, we got the recording, so that's not a guesswork of what I said, but it's on recording. Okay. And this is going to revolutionize the treatment, not only for Parkinson's disease, but also for MS and again, Lou Gehrig's disease and that sort of thing, and Alzheimer's disease and FTD and so forth. I'm so very excited about this because this is a huge, huge, huge leap in healthcare for the central nervous system. Over to you, Becca.
Oh, Dr. Wallach, I love the fact that we have options that people can actually put into action that gives their body nutrition that the food is missing in our food supplies today. And I think that is very apparent when you look at how different conditions and their symptoms have increased
Yes.
with the food nutrition decreasing. I mean, coming from a statistics background, it's not a coincidence.
Well, let me throw one more piece in there to back up what you're saying. For thousands and thousands and thousands of years, what did we do with the wood ashes and coal ashes from our stoves and fireplaces? What do we do with those every day?
Well, we worked them back into the dirt, and usually it was in the garden. That's
Yeah, it was in the garden.
It didn't have to go back thousands and thousands of years, because when I was growing up, we had a wood fireplace and we put it into our garden.
Yeah, well, that was good up until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, when Thomas Edison pulled the switch and went to electricity. Well, within 18 years, by the year, 1900, okay, a new century, suddenly now we had a problem because there's like 50 new diseases nobody had ever seen before, all nutritional deficiency diseases, mind you, because we weren't getting our nutritional minerals from our wood ashes and coal ashes anymore, which we were putting in our gardens. And people didn't realize it, but they knew that when they put the wood ashes and coal ashes in the garden, the gardens flourished and they would get a bigger yield, which made them happy. But they didn't realize that also not only did they get a bigger yield, but also those minerals that the tree had sucked up out of the ground were being transferred into the garden. And that was very important. Well, when we went to electricity, we had no more access to those minerals. And suddenly now we had all these diseases nobody had ever seen before. And it was the beginning of the science of genetics. It was just perfect timing for the geneticists. Oh, these are all genetic diseases. Really, they're just simple nutritional deficiency diseases because doctors are saying, even yet today, doctors say, do not waste your time and money on supplementation. Just eat well, you get everything you need. Any doctor who says that should have to be forced to go back to school and have their license suspended until they graduate and all this kind of stuff, because you cannot get what you need just by eating well, because plants do not make minerals. Nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like gold and silver. Is there a gold mine on every block in the city? It's rare. Well, the same thing is true with all these nutrients. They are rare. Okay. There's some areas that have 3 nutrients, but if you go back to the Bible, this has made me breathless. When I recall my Bible lessons when I was a kid, okay, that the land flowing with milk and honey is where people lived a long, healthful life. Okay. They lived to be what? Adam lived to be 930. Noah lived to be 950. Methuselah lived to be 969. There was many of them lived to be 800, 700, 600. And that's because they're all getting this milk and honey coming down from the mountains. They all lived in these places called the land flowing with milk and honey. Well, that was written up in 21 stories in the Old Testament and 100 mentions of the land flowing with milk and honey in the Old Testament. I mean, 100 mentions and 21 stories. So it was obvious to people back then in the Bible days, 3,000 years ago in the Old Testament, that there was something coming out of the mountains were necessary for a long, healthful life. Okay. And they thought it was cow's milk or goat's milk or something because it looked like milk. Well, it turns out it's glacial milk as the glacier is grinding up the rocks and so forth. But it's not everywhere because mountains from one area are not the same as mountains in other areas. So some mountains would have, say, 3 minerals in their glacial milk. Some would have 50, some would have 75, some would have 100. Depending on where you live, what nutrients were in the glacial milk. Okay. And so this story is in the book Rare Earths, chapter 10. The title is Glacial Milk.
Glacial milk.
Goes into this whole history, and it just makes me breathless every time I think about this. And this whole thing has come around now to Parkinson's disease. Now, what makes it unimpeachable is this woman was being re-examined every year for 11 years minimum, getting reaffirmed that her diagnosis was Parkinson's for 11 times. And then after just 2.5 months in our program, suddenly now it's Parkinson's. Oh, no Parkinson's anymore. And she is talking, she's fine, she's feeling very good. She's excited about participating so she can help other people. I just love this woman.
Yeah, I'm super excited for her to be able to share her story, Dr. Wallach, and for others to be able to get that little nugget of what nutrition can actually do. Because Dr. Wallach, you mentioned, the wood ash, but minerals do not they're not in,
Evil.
abundant, evil, or even across all the earth. So trees from different areas are going to give you different minerals. They're still not going to be complete.
That's correct. But 5 minerals are better than none. Okay. But 75 are better than 5. And so
I had a question.
Sure. That's what I say. That's why places where people live to be 100 and places where they didn't. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I had a question this week that came into me through Facebook saying, where do I find glacial milk? How can I get it now?
Well, that's easy. Longevity, we have glacial milk. Okay. It's called what?
Plant-derived minerals or majestic. It's in many of the longevity products, but you can also get just plant-derived minerals in our plain plant-derived minerals.
In the garden.
There's the bloomin' minerals that you can put into the garden. There's the yummy cherry mints and strawberry kiwi mints, and then herbal rainforest, rebound, beyond tangy tangerine, ultimate tangy tangerine, ultra body toddy. I said rebound. I mean, all of these things, Dr. Wallach, that contain something so important and vital. And it's not just because you said so. It was documentation going far beyond you. And then also, one thing that I really like about chapter 10 in the book, Rare Earths, Forbidden Cures, is how you have taken the research from other people on the waters in that area and what they
We have
contain.
we have the analysis about a half a dozen different glacial milks from around the world. And you see they're vastly different depending on what minerals are in that mountain. They're not all the same.
Not all the same. So with the plant-derived minerals, we have third-party testing to prove and confirm that what's on the label is in the book or in the product. And Dr. Wallach is holding up a DVD that is a testimony of the power of just the plant-derived minerals and what they can do in the body. When the body's not taking in nutrition, you can put it on the skin absorbs it, it brings it into the bloodstream, it feeds all the cells within the body with what was put on the skin. So it's
And this is
amazing, Dr.
the
Wallach,
story of a
that
great
story right there.
pastor from Baltimore, Maryland, Pastor Mike Freeman, who's in a coma for
Yep.
something like 8
You can go
weeks.
ahead and put that down, Doc, because it's just doing a glare. You can't really see what's on it. I'll put mine up here.
There you go.
Lord, past the 90.
Praise the Lord.
Great story.
See, it's
And
like in the military. Praise the Lord and pass an ammunition.
yes. And one thing that I wanted to mention, all Dr. Wallach's books and his CDs and DVDs that share the message of hope, and can be found on www.drjwallach.com. That's www.drjwallach.com. And you can also find a list of the majority of Dr. Wallach's publications, even the ones done on animals, all of their reference, everything supporting what he has done on that website if you click on the About page. So it's all there, black and white, where people can see it, they can look things up, confirm that what you are saying is actually true, because it absolutely is. And just, folks, be a sponge. The information that's going to be shared in this program is life-changing. It changed my life. It gave me my life back.
And we can't thank you enough for sharing your story. And this gal here also is sharing her story about her Parkinson's disease. Just think about it. I couldn't ask for anything better, where she was tested positive for 11 years and she gets in our program for a couple of weeks and suddenly now she's negative. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, how great is that? This is one of the greatest, what should I say, clinics in the world. This is every country, every city, state, every person in the world knows this about this clinic. Okay, this is not some bunch of hippies, sitting in a field somewhere. This is a big deal, and we're all getting it all together. And when we pull the trigger on this, and what do you say, 2 weeks, a week, something
I'm
in that
not
area?
giving it time, Dr. Wallach. I'm not going to give it time.
Okay.
We're going to put it together just as quickly as we possibly can, because it includes getting in contact with the medical center and the doctor there and getting the confirmation, plus pulling her medical records together. Doc, it's not an overnight thing.
Oh, no, I know that. Might
And
be
it
too over.
includes depending on other people to get information to us as well. So it is coming. Yeah, it's all of this stuff, Dr. Wallach, all that you've been teaching. And this is not the first, it's not the only. This is just a continuation of the positive things that can be found, received, felt just from giving your body what Dr. Wallach found through his many autopsies and research, what the body needs to thrive, not just survive. So I'm excited for her. She was so excited that she contacted her coach and set up an appointment with her, not wanting to tell her the good news on the phone or even letting her know about it on her phone, but wanted to have in person, because she is so grateful for what the coach shared with her that then was shared by you. So I love it, Doc. But
Well,
let's get,
this is a team effort, and this is Like I say, this is one of those things where it's going to make medicine leap forward by 100 years. Okay, it's going to make medicine leap forward in their treatment of people. It's going to be just like it was. Now, you think about it, we don't hear about muscular dystrophy anymore. We don't hear about cystic fibrosis anymore. We don't hear about sudden death syndrome anymore. You get a rare case once a year, once every 2 or 3 years, something when somebody does something wrong. But if everybody's doing all the right stuff, those diseases are gone. The same way is going to be true not only with Parkinson's disease, but all the other related diseases, because Parkinson's disease is just multiple sclerosis with tremors.
Hmm.
So there's another piece of the brain afflicted, because each part of the brain that's afflicted gives you different symptoms.
Well, and that's because of the cranial nerves, right?
That's right. The 12 pairs of cranial nerves and the spinal cord. Ding
Yeah.
dong, the witch is dead.
Well, let's keep that witch dead, Dr. Wallach, and share some information with folks. We do have a question out on YouTube and says, the question is, why isn't supplementation mainstream? Is it hidden by purpose or the medical model is unaware of supplementation on health?
Well,
Would you
that's a
like to?
good question. There's several reasons. One, it's a financial thing. Um, if you um, kill the dairy cow for beef, how much milk are you going to get? None.
None from that cow.
If you milk that cow for years and years and years, you're not going to get any beef. And so the doctors, want to keep that income stream. And I can understand where they're coming from. I don't agree with them, but I can understand where they're coming from, why they chose that many years ago. But this is a different time. But also, it's one of those things where if you look at the treatments the medical system has, most of them, I don't know what it is, it's very high, 75, 80, 90%, treat the symptoms. They never get down to the basic root cause of the problem. They treat the symptoms. And the people were so grateful and so, oh man, I had such pain, I couldn't even open my eyes in the morning. I just was in such pain. And this doctor gave me this new pain relief. It's much, much more strong than aspirin. And I take it and it gives me about 6 or 8 hours. So I can take 2 or 3 a day and my day is just without pain. But then 3 years down the line, they have to have a double knee replacement or major back surgery and then die from anesthesia from the back, during the back surgery or something like that. And really, if they had taken the nutrition instead of just the pain, I'm not saying don't take the pain relief, but I'm saying take the nutrition along with it so you can actually let your body rebuild itself. Pain relievers do not build tissue. They relieve pain. That's what they're called, pain relievers. Okay. And that's one of the things that have held medicine back for so long is that people want fast results, which is fair. Nothing wrong with that. But they should say, okay, I got two things here for you. One, this is going to help you rebuild your knees, and this is going to help you with your pain. Take both of these, and while the pain is gone, we want to rebuild and rebuild and rebuild. So you're not going to have problems 6 months down the line, or a year down the line, or 2 years down the line, or die 5 years down the line because we really didn't get down to the basic root cause of the problem. Just treating the pain is a good thing. It's a God thing to relieve somebody's pain, but to not eliminate the problem when you know how to eliminate it, and there's no negatives to eliminating the problem, okay, why not do it right?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do it right. The next question is, what is your opinion, Dr. Wallach, on grounding, like walking barefoot on the ground, direct ground?
Well, there's, what should I say? There's a lot of stuff going on when people enjoy the benefit of grounding. Do they have low back problems? Do they have osteoporosis of the skull? Do they have anemia? There's more than just, if you're getting benefit from grounding, there's a reason you're getting benefit from grounding. But it's kind of like you're not going to be able to rebuild, you're not going to rebuild your tissues just by walking on the dirt. Okay. Okay. But you don't have the boots on with the buckles and the hard heels and all that kind of stuff. Stay off the concrete. But so grounding is a therapy. It's an emotional therapy. Okay. And you can get some relief of discomfort and distraction, discomfort and distraction, okay, by grounding. And so it's one of those things where it can be beneficial, but it's just a small piece of the puzzle and the problem. You need to give your body what it needs to maintain itself. You don't take dirt from Texas and put in your car. You put oil in your car. Okay, you don't just put water in your radiator, you put a coolant in the radiator. You don't just put water in your brakes, you put a brake fluid in there. You don't put water in your differential. Okay, you put differential fluid in there and so on. And so the same thing you have to do for yourself. Our equipment, our physical equipment in our body, and our biological functions and our organ systems and so forth require 90 essential nutrients. In some cases, they need a lot more of something. Okay, like when you have diabetes, okay, you need a lot more of what's in the sweeties. Okay, and when you have high blood pressure, you need a lot more of what's in the what? So the ultimate daily classic
Ultimately
tablets.
classic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And so you have to do the whole thing. That's why we say you take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, that gives you a base, gives your body what it needs all over, all your organ systems. And then whatever clinical symptom you have, you take the secret sauce, we call it, specifically designed to deal with the diabetes, to deal with the high blood pressure, to deal with the pain in the joints, and to deal with memory loss.
And I want to add to it, when you say deal with it, it's not smooth it over and make it so that you don't have those symptoms anymore. It's addressing the underlying cause.
That's correct. Yeah, the secret sauces get to the underlying cause and get rid of it. Now, we have secret sauces for about 600 different diseases. Okay, and that's what makes us different. When you look at so many other groups, for instance, let's just look at athletes, professional athletes. The life expectancy of professional athletes in America is 56.7. What? They exercise, they get paid to exercise, and they only live to be 56.7. Yeah. What's going on there? Well, they're sweating. And what do they do to, relieve their dehydration after sweating and exercising? Well, they drink plenty of water. Well, that's a mistake, because water isn't the whole thing. When you sweat, you're sweating out of soup that contains all the nutrients floating around your blood. And you sweat and you sweat and you sweat and you sweat, and you're losing all these nutrients, gone, 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 gone. That's why, I mean, even in today's news, there's all these young athletes in their 20s dying, in their teens dying, in their 30s dying. These are professional athletes. And their teams and their team doctors and coaches should know this stuff, but they don't. It's criminal for these
It
people
is
to die. Go ahead.
it is criminal, Dr. Wallach. And we are making huge efforts to make sure that this message gets out to an even greater population. And folks, if you are connected with or have your own program, a podcast, whatever your program is, where you have an audience and you would like to host Dr. Wallach on your program, get back with me. Go to dailywithdoc.com, click contact, and send me a message. We are getting Dr. Wallach scheduled for many amazing opportunities, and we want to make sure that we get yours included in that also. So again, dailywithdoc.com, and look for that option in the menu for contact and send me an email. Let me know what you've got going on and when you would like to schedule Dr. Wallach. And don't forget your phone number. I've had a couple people email in wanting to get him on the right away, and then don't put a phone number. Well, I don't know about you, but not everybody's email comes into my inbox, and sometimes it goes to spam and junk or other, and I may not see it right away. So don't forget a phone number. Well, Dr. Wallach, we have lots of people with their hands up. We want to make sure that we get to them here. We only have about, 15, less than 15 minutes. So let's go to Ray. Ray, go ahead and unmute yourself, please. You're on live with Dr. Wallach.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
spoke to you last week. It was about cholesterol, where my blood test was slightly elevated, my overall cholesterol. And I was going to go see the doctor the next day and just thought I'd follow up. Of course, he kind of mentioned, he didn't want to put me on him right then, but he did mention the statin drugs. I told him, well, I really didn't want to do that. So he kind of asked me what I did, because, my blood test 8 months ago, the last one from my last physical, everything was really low. So he was wondering what happened in the last 8 months. And the only thing I could tell him was, I do a lot of snow skiing, very aggressive, black double diamond stuff. Sometimes I get off the lift and even hike higher up the mountain. Did that 47 times that year. This year, I just did it 13 times. And he didn't think, that's a lot of exercise. It is a lot of exercise the way I ski. And he thought, well, maybe that had nothing to do with it. He wasn't really sure. But, I haven't been eating bread. When I have, spaghetti, it's the gluten-free type, not much. Pancakes, the rice type, gluten-free. Try to stay gluten-free on everything. So I just thought I'd follow up with that. He didn't want to really put me on, like I said just now. But when I go back and see him, my annual physical back in November, I'm gonna have a test then, and we're gonna see, basically what happened.
Okay, good. And that's, yes, there's nothing wrong with getting tested and this, that, and the other. So you can have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. That's a good idea. But, the fact you give up all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no butter, oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks, no buckwheat, and carbonated water needs to go, bubbly water, because it does neutralize stomach acid, so you cannot absorb minerals and digest food. So there's all kinds of stuff going on, plus taking the 90 essential nutrients, plus the secret sauce, according to whatever health challenge you have. Okay,
Ray,
Becca.
question. Are you saying that less exercise, you had improvements?
No, 9 months or 8 months ago, my last blood test, in the last 3 years, all my blood tests would have some elevated levels on the good cholesterol, the bad. One would be lower, one would be higher. They just went back and forth. The total was always below. My doctor said that's just pretty much normal for what he sees on everybody. But the last one 8 months ago, they were all low. I mean, everything was lower. And that's when I skied 47 times that year. And then when I had the last blood test, back in just last month, then they were pretty much, not all of them, but the total cholesterol was slightly elevated at 215. And that's what he was asking. Well, what did you do differently? Because my diet really hadn't changed at all that I could tell, that I've done. But that amount of exercise was definitely what I did different. And, he said, of course, cholesterol can cause plaque in your arteries. He was considering doing that calcium coronary check with a CT so they can get like a number, So, I'm
Yeah,
game
that's
to
false
that.
information. Plaque is not caused by cholesterol.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I was always led to believe. I've been listening to you for years, So it's like, I like to kind of get back on that. And that's the one thing that I tried to ask him. How can I be so low 8 months ago? And now it's like higher than it's ever been. It's probably the lowest it's ever been to the higher it's ever been. And that's the only thing that I could tell that's different. And then he also recommended lay off cheese.
Well, you have to appreciate that it wouldn't hurt to have the level of your sex hormones taken, blood level, your sex hormones, because sex hormones, both in males and females, is like 95% cholesterol. So if your sex hormone level is going up, you're going to have more cholesterol.
What do you think? This is kind of unrelated, but purified bile salts. You know anything about that? I mean, can you tell me a little about that? Because nobody ever seems to ever talk about that. And that seems to be able to lower cholesterol from what I've heard.
Well, bile is required to absorb fatty acids, essential fatty acids out of your intestine, okay, and fat soluble vitamins. So it's very important to make sure you have bile. And your liver requires an enormous amount of nutrition. It has like over 50 different things it does, including absorb the fat soluble vitamins and the fatty acids and so forth. And so, yeah, they're all kind of cross-related.
Okay, do you do a supplement of like purified bile salts?
Yeah, we have what we call the gallbladder in a bottle. We call the gallbladder in a bottle.
Okay.
It's our ultimate enzymes. Because what we do, we go to the place where they kill all the cattle, okay, the slaughterhouse, and we get their gallbladders. We dry the bile, and we put the bile in with our ultimate enzymes. I think we're the only company out there in the world that puts bile in with our enzymes, and so we call it the gallbladder in a bottle. Okay, it's our ultimate enzymes.
Okay, so, and that might aid in reducing cholesterol a little, or should I not even worry about my
Oh,
cholesterol?
no, just go ahead and give it a shot, see what it
Okay.
does.
Very good.
Let us
Well,
know.
thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
definitely let you know, especially when I do my next blood test in like the next 5 months. That's coming up.
okay.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you, Ray. And so what I heard from that is Dr. Wallach, he was exercising more and his numbers were lower, like maybe too low, because of using all of the minerals within the body and maybe not having, but I know he's been on the products for a while. I'm not quite sure how long, but making sure that he's getting the nutrition. So folks, when you exercise more, you're using more of what the body needs, you've got to replenish it because it does not replenish itself. Let's go to the next hand that is up, Dr. Wallach, and Daniel, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dariel, and I'm calling actually on behalf of my mother that's right next to me. And she suffered from many diseases, such as metaplasmosis, meningocele, hair loss, colitis, gastritis, tachycardia, fibromyalgia, and then erythema nodosus, I believe. So, and we heard of Dr. Wallach. My father told me, and yeah, we would like to know what he could do, what you could do, doctor, like for her, what you could
Okay.
advise.
Okay, well, quickly, because we only have a little bit of time here. So quickly, how much does your mom weigh?
Sure, she's 163 pounds.
Okay, does she have any diagnosed diseases like diabetes or high blood pressure?
Tiene diabetes personal.
No, presión muy baja.
No high pressure, but low blood pressure she does.
Okay, she does have high blood pressure.
Low pressure, low blood pressure.
Oh, low blood pressure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and you say she weighs 140 pounds?
Her, yeah, 163 pounds, and then her
160.
height is 5'3".
Okay, 163 pounds. So she's getting rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no Fritos, Papas. Okay, no Fritos, no fried foods. Okay.
No, she's
No.
pretty happy. Yeah.
Okay, well, I got to keep going here. Because we're short of time. So no fried foods, no processed meats, no ham, bacon, bologna, salami, pastrami, pepperoni, jerky,
No,
corned beef, spam,
none,
hot dogs, all
none
that.
of that. She's oil
Okay,
food.
good. Then she needs to stay away from she needs to stay away from the gluten, no wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. There are no such things as gluten-free oats. The gluten in oats is called gliadin, but it's still gluten. No wheat, barley, rye, or oats. No buckwheat. There's no gluten in buckwheat, but buckwheat has Fago, F-A-G-O pyrines in it, which are 10 times worse than gluten. Okay, no buckwheat pancakes, no buckwheat cereal, no buckwheat. Okay,
Okay.
then absolutely no sugar and no sugar and no carbonated drinks, no soft drinks, no diet drinks, and no carbonated water because they neutralize stomach acids, so you cannot absorb minerals or digest food. Now, with all that said, I want her at 160 something pounds. I want her to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. Full dose twice a day. I want her to take 2 bottles a month or MSM. So you take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. They're going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone, makes the bone itself. I also want her to take our, let's see, our Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. If she's on medication for high blood pressure, then she don't cold turkey off of that. But as the blood pressure begins to come down, she can slowly reduce that medication based on the numbers. But take 3 of the 3 of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And then I also want her to have our Synaptive. Take 3 of those twice a day. The Synaptive, that will help her brains talk to her body, help her body talk to her brains, help her brains talk to her spinal cord talk to her brain, and so forth. And let's see here. Also, if she walks or takes walks, exercise, anything like that, or if she does laundry or if she does anything where she sweats, she does need to be sure she's taking her Rebound or sports drink. Again, we have 30 sticks in a box. Each one of these sticks is a complete 100 nutrient dose of our Rebound. We have the canisters with 36 doses. We have the cans, but if she's going to drink, the cans got to pop the tops at night, put them in the refrigerator, drink them the next day. Okay, there's 100 nutrients in our rebound. And I do that just so I'm getting 100 nutrients like 5-6 times a day between my rebound and my healthy brain and heart packs and all these other things. I'm getting 100 nutrients, okay, 5 or 6 times a day. And I'm 84, and most people think I'm in my 50s.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's real good. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, give us
Yeah,
a call every couple of weeks. Let us know how mom's doing. I apologize. We got to run.
no, thank you, doctor. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Dario. Oh, Dr. Wallach, thank you again so much for that. I know we are coming to the end of our program. Folks, if you've got some health concerns going on, take a look at the symptoms and get one of Dr. Wallach's books. You can start with It's All in Your Head, because it covers so many different conditions and their symptoms that are associated with nutritional deficiencies that are caused by osteoporosis of the skull. If you've got osteoporosis in your pinky, why would it not be anywhere else? Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody, God bless.
God bless Dr. Wallach and all of our community. And if I could get my health coaches that I have on with me today as co-hosts, these are just a small handful of the folks, of the people that are joining us in this crusade to reach around the world and be able to share information that empowers them to be able to gain, regain, maintain health. Folks, we're not chemical deficient. It's nutrient deficient. The science of epigenetics proves it. So I am very much appreciative of what Dr. Wallach has done, and also the support that I get from an amazing community within the Longevity family. We are a family, and we are here as a resource for that entire family. I know the hearts of the people that I have on with me here are to make sure people are getting what they need so that they also can feel the difference. So I just want to say thank you to AJ Sportis out on YouTube. Thank you so much for keeping all of that activity and the questions answered and the communication flowing out there. I know there was a question from Paul in regards to one of his friends that we didn't get to today. Paul, please go to dailywithdoc.com, use that contact us, and include all the information into a single email so that we can get that in front of Dr. Wallach and get a response for you. That's how we helped this lady with Parkinson's that we talked about in the beginning of the day. One of our coaches came to me and said, Becca, what would you recommend? What would Dr. Wallach recommend? It's not me recommending it, it's Dr. Wallach recommending it. And I was able to be part of making sure that she got what Dr. Wallach recommended. And we can do that for you as well. Phyllis Anderson, she's been doing that for people for over 27 years. As she has been part of this community, part of the Longevity family, even before it was Longevity, I think. So we come to you as brand new, just felt the difference, to people that have felt the difference so powerfully and have continued to find it and feel it for decades. It works, folks. It's not a fly-by-night fad. It really, really does work. And we have Sherry. Sherry is awesome. She actually was part of another health coach program that didn't have solutions, not like we offer here in Longevity. She has decided to become a certified holistic health coach also with the Institute of Holistic Health, which all of my coaches that I have with me are going through or have graduated from that program. We have Marilyn, who is she's like an encyclopedia, folks. She is so good, and we call her the poet because her eloquency with her words is just fantastic. And her ability to type really fast is wonderful too. Her and Phyllis both. I love that skill. And I'm glad that I'm not the one that has to do it anymore. And then Ruth Ellen, thank you so much, Ruth Ellen, as she is making sure that the streams get to where they are, make sure that the volumes and sound, everything is intact and people show up and get connected. I love it that we can all work together. One team, one dream, and that dream is to see humanity and the world to thrive. My name is Becca Dukes. As the hostess of dailywithdoc.com, we thank you for taking the time, investing the time into becoming an empowered individual. Now take this invitation of empowerment and put it into action. Get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there's nobody to thank, go to dailywithdoc.com. We have a store there. You can reach out to one of our coaches by going to contact under that. Also, don't forget to like this channel, whether you're on YouTube, Rumble, or Facebook. Follow us. That way you stay connected. Go to dailywithdoc.com, sign up for our newsletter. We send out a weekly newsletter that gives a brief description of what last week's programs were with a link directly to that. You can find replays of our programs on dailywithdoc.com going back 3 years, folks. Yes, there's a couple with some technical difficulties. We're working on that, but it's all about progress. It's progress over perfection. If you waited until everything was perfect, you would have no progress. We have a heart to help people. We're going to do whatever it takes and work through the growing pains of it so that we can get this information out. Did I forget anything?
I just want to say thank you to AJ Sportis for covering for me on days that I need to be away and doing my job, because it's not easy and it is greatly, greatly appreciated. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. And folks, a program like this is not just for us to do. If you have the desire to put a program together and you would like to host Dr. Wallach, let's do it. Find people in your community, in your reach, that have skills where you can use them together. We call it advanced team building. Jonty, our webmaster, is also fantastic at the whole audio visual stuff, and he taught me all I know. And he's used his skills that then brought in me so that I could use my skills, so that I could bring in others so that they also can share their skills in being able to bring this message to a greater community. So folks, if you have skills and you want to use those skills to help others, get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there's nobody to thank, dailywithdoc.com. I also have, and this is for the people who are not working with somebody, who have not been referred to this program by somebody specific, you found it on your own, or you're part of the Critical Health newsletter or the Daily with Doc newsletter, and you would like more information on how you can be part of this community as an associate, 855-949-3377. I do have a call team there standing by, 855-949-3377. Again, for those who have never tried the products or who have not spoken to anybody about longevity, our coaches are available for those interested in the business, but also those who are interested in taking control of their health. Give us 90 days. Bye for now.